Right here. Okay, there it's recording. Okay, I wanted us to pick up tonight and start from where we left off with the convention, and that is a vision for 2025. And visions are things that Nikken, from the time I came in here, we always had a vision. And the vision, and we would set the date and we would work towards that. And I think the last time we did that was 2015. And so I got really excited when at convention they looked at that. So, part of that means, where do you want to be in 2025? By 2025, we will be out of this pandemic. We'll be able to look back on this time and think, whoa, weren't those some interesting times? And they have been. And one of the things that we want to think about is we've talked about collaborative entrepreneurship for a few years, but we are looking at a collaborative economy. And what does a collaborative economy mean to some of you? Nobody's muted, just to let you know.
I'm sorry.
Well, I think it's collaborating in educating each other and ourselves about others, referring for each other, and not just thinking about my Nikken business, but how can I help you with yours, or how can I help you with your plumbing business, or how can I help you with your law business, because it comes back.
That's right. Collaborative economy is about everybody working together. And that is really, I believe, the key of what happens in Latin America. It's also what happens in Japan. When I was in Japan, what I loved so much was the people were like this. They all worked together. The trains there, and you'd see somebody with a mask and say, why do they have that on? And they'd say, well, they're not feeling good today. And when people don't feel well, they wear a mask because they want to make sure that they don't pass something on to somebody else. The people of Japan are very cohesive. And one of the things that I have noticed in the United States is immigrant families, and it doesn't matter really where they come from, but immigrant families from all over the world are more cohesive than the mainstay of the people who've been living in the United States over decades. Immigrant families come here and oftentimes start businesses, and they grow really well. And I'm going to give an example of Subway shops. And there are a lot of people from the Middle East that own those Subways. And they come in, and all these people go in together and they buy the franchise, and then all those people work together and they make it a success. And that was Masuda's idea, and it was his ideal. It was one man with an entrepreneurial spirit. He had a problem to solve. He wanted a better life for his family. He had a need, and he started the Nikken, and he did direct sales. And direct sales is really what we do. We do it under network marketing because that's how we get paid. So we use that pay structure, but we're not really a network marketing company. And it's really about that collaborative economy and all working together. Now, looking at your future, there's two things that happen with people's future. You can create your future, or you can sit back and just make a choice and see what happens. But make no mistake, you are creating that future. And so what we want to look now is, how are we going to co-create? How are we going to co-create the rest of this week? We've got 2 events as a team coming up, one on Thursday night, one on Sunday. There are 2 ways, and I've spoken to you all about this before. You can have present past conversation, and you might say, well, we've done these and I've never been very successful in getting anybody to come, and that's probably how it'll come out this time. And And that is expecting whatever has been in the past will be in the present and in the future. Well, that's really not, that doesn't work too much. And, the truth is the past doesn't predict the future. And that's a really good thing. Anybody other than me made any mistakes in the past that they don't really want to repeat again?
We all did.
That's right. So we learn from the past, but we want to have a present future orientation. How we're going to make money is by sharing these products. Now, Nikken is, I'm so excited. Christina's here. Good to see you, Christina. Right now we're running the promotion, which is anyone who signs up between now and the end of the month will get an additional 15% off of one order. So, and they can't buy a pack. The facial products don't count and the nutritionals don't count. But if they chose to buy the water pack, they would save more on it than they would by buying it in the pack. Because what do you get off on a pack when you buy a pack?
10%.
And this time you're going to get
15.
Right. Now, and I'm going to get back to that water pack because water is a really good product to focus on. And, all of us, how often do you restart your Nikken business?
Every day.
You do. But you do on the first day of the month because no matter what you've done the month before, the first day of the month goes and I go in there and you know what it's. Well, I actually have some people that have auto ship, so that makes me feel better because I go in and there's not just zeros. I love that part. So here's a tip. Get some auto ship set up for the day of the month. So when you open it up, it's not zeros all the way across. That's always depressing to me. So, this is what water is a great product. And if you want to make money, you've got to sell a product and figuring out what you want to do. And that means setting a goal. What can you do? Who in here has ever bought a car? Because I'm going to talk a little bit about sales. Who in here has ever bought a car?
Yeah, I have.
When you got to the dealership, you probably told them kind of what you were looking for. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did they perhaps take you to a more expensive, maybe a better model car than what you said you wanted?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
And you looked at that car and it was really nice and had all the bells and whistles and, you probably knew it wasn't in your budget. And so when you looked at that, you probably said to them, and we're going to, because I'm a Toyota girl, you all know that. So maybe you mentioned a Corolla, but they took you to the Camry because the Camry is more top of the line. And you said that Camry is very nice, but what I'm really looking for is a Corolla. What did you just do?
You spoke your truth about what you wanted and what you needed.
Well, what it was they showed you something that was above you. If you ever bought a house, the same thing happens. They'll take you to a house that's out of your price range and bigger and better. And then you'll say, no, what I want is really something. So then they know exactly what you want. And when you say that's what you want, then you've made an agreement and they know what you are willing to buy. So let's think about this. If you want to sell a waterfall, what might you show someone first?
A water pack.
That's right. Oh, this water pack is wonderful. And it is. You get a whole house system, really, and you get the filters. because you're going to have the waterfall, which takes all of your cooking and your drinking. You've got a water bottle. You can go anywhere you want. You've got a shower head. Oh my gosh. When you take that chlorine out, it just changes your skin and your hair. Those of us that dye our hair, we really like what it does for our hair. It's just wonderful. And you'll get all those filters. And it's $500 and so dollars. And if you buy that, when you buy the pack, you get everything 10% off. And somebody says, well, that's really nice and I'd love to have that. But I guess probably where I'll have to start is just with the waterfall. So what have you gotten?
Sale.
Yeah.
That's right. You get an agreement. And this is not, you've got to find out what the person wants to buy. So one of the things when you're thinking about how to show the products to somebody, show the best and then let them choose. Now, occasionally somebody's going to do that best. We're going to be talking about the wellness environment and wellness homes again, which we used to talk about, and creating more wellness homes. I came into Nikken and I bought a wellness home, and I'm going to be honest with you, I put it right on a credit card because I was sick of the dog and I had to do something. I was going to end up bankrupt. So I got a sleep system. I got all the water products. I got a bunch of the magnetic products. And I got a bunch of the nutritionals, and I got the air. So I got everything I needed to have a wellness home. And there's not been a lot, but I've had several people when they say, well, how did you start out? I said, I started out with the wellness home. What did that take? And now what you would be looking at would be the packs. They could buy, at that time, we had what we called a wellness home pack, which had everything in it. But anybody want to guess? Some of you know. If you know how much, don't say, how much do you think my wellness home cost me in that pack when I got it?
5,000.
5,000.
5,000.
Today, someone could get that same amount of product by buying those individual packs, and they'd have it for 2,500. Because it's 14 and a half years later and things have changed. But the more product they get, but showing them, because it is a great way to save. If somebody really wants to save and dive into this, that's a way. But if they really want and when they look at spending $500 or $300, what do you think looks better?
Probably they want the 300.
That's right. If money is what's holding them back. If they just want to get, now some people say, well, those people in Latin America are different. Those products. Or they'll say, oh, the people in Europe are different. That's why it's going so much better in Germany, or, Germany is our number one country in Europe. But you know what? What country do people not breathe air? What country do people not drink water? What country do people not sleep in? What country do people not eat food in? And what country do people not need energy?
I know.
Where?
Ethiopia.
It's under the earth in the grave.
I don't think you'll be very successful in selling people in the graveyard. And this is a little joke, but it's true. I did have a consultant one time that took me to see the funeral director and really wanted to work with him. And I just could not see with, how that would work real well. But anyway, she was very into that. But because his customers were, just not very lively.
Right.
So, everybody needs these, no matter what we look like on the outside, no matter what kind of different ways we cook our food, no matter the different ways we dress, our products are things that everybody wants and everybody needs. And we're going to be using a term, vital wellness, because vital is what you can't live without. You can go only a couple of minutes without air and it's game over. You can go days without water, it's game over. You can go a week without sleep, game over. You can go weeks without food, but at some place you're going to starve to death. The body just, kind of works with that. And without energy, you're gone. And, that's one of the problems we have now is there's so much of this electromagnetic energy that is causing all these arrhythmias that they're having to put paddles everywhere where they can shock you back. But energy, the body doesn't live without energy. So we want to be talking a lot about the wellness environment. I even like talking with people about the wellness environment better than I do the wellness home. So we want to talk to people about starting where they are. If you live in the tropics, then you probably don't think a lot about the seasons because it's about the same all the time. That's my son.
You don't think about the seasons.
No, you don't think about the seasons when
The seasons there, it's like you have like a rain season and a not rain season.
But it's not.
And the weather kind of stays the same. The temperature, the humidity, all the other things tend to, in general, stay the same. It's just rain or not rain.
Right. That's it. My son lives in on an island in the Pacific. It is 80 to 90 degrees year round. You're out. The only difference is it raining or is it not raining? That's it. But for most people where we live, there is a preparing for the winter. And that means that you save resources. And so people think about these things. And as people are thinking how they're going to create their wellness environment, it's up for us to show them how they can do that. Now, if someone signs up as a consultant, there are a lot of tax benefits. I appreciated those last week when I did my tax return because it saved me a lot of money. I appreciate it with my traveling. My Peruvian consultant, it finally, and this is after 8 years, he said the other day, so I really could have been writing off every time I fly home to Peru because I work the business there. Yep. That's a big savings if you're going, or, for Christina, if she works the business with some people in Europe, then every time she goes home, she can write off her flight. She can write off meals. She can write off if she happens to stay in a hotel rather than staying with friends. I mean, these are things, but we've got to show people how this works. For anybody who signs up right now before the 30th, they're going to get that one order, but they have opened up the door to a lot of possibilities. So what I want you to think about and invite to be on the call tomorrow night at 7, and then there's one on Sunday at 2:30 is who do you want to invite? Who might be interested in extra money? Who might, and if they're interested in extra money, we want to teach people that they start with their wellness. They don't have to invest in a wellness home. They don't have to invest in a pack. They can start off with just one product. The more products you get, the more you're going to notice. But even with just one product, you've got something you can show. Now you've got to build from there, because do you think that people will buy or continue to buy a water system from you if all of your friends are buying a water system and they notice you don't have one? Probably not. I tell people all the time, I could sell Toyotas. I'm telling you, the Toyota dealership should hire me. I've got a Toyota sitting out there with 296,000 miles on it and one with 248,000 miles on it. And as far as I'm concerned, there is no car other than a Toyota. They have been awfully good to me, and my next car will be a Toyota. But heck, these ones have got to die first. We want people to choose Nikken as their wellness. And we want to get their attention that we are the Humans Being More company. That's huge. You know, Jeff Isom, I love, you know, when he told the story at convention about being in Serbia when everything was being blown up and spending half a night in a graveyard and half a night in a blown out house. I love that story. He told me that. And then when I went to Serbia and I was seeing all the things there, and I was thinking, yeah, Jeff was here when this was all going on in the 90s. You know, he teaches the concept of humans being more so well. There's going to be a very special Humans Being More. I believe it is the first Saturday in December. And I encourage you to get a ticket and be on. That Ben Woodward is hosting that one. And it's going to be about now, next, and beyond. And that's what we're looking for. You know, everyone wants to finish strong this month, and we've got a great opportunity, but we've got 2 more months, and we know that these are the best months of the year. You know, think about what are people looking for? Now, the way they start this in Latin America is the beginners want to make money, and we want everybody that comes in to make some money their first month. Now, if they retail any product, they are going to make 20% of that product, and it's going to go in their bank account the next week. The goal should be to have money going in your bank account every week from retail sales. Now, when you think about what people are looking for, you know, what might they want to pay? You know, we're looking at, we're a Humans Being More company, and we teach people to be more by the 5 pillars of health. But I will tell you that finances are on everyone's mind. If they're not all the time, I'm telling you right now, they really are. People are getting, what's killing me is the most profitable companies are the ones that are laying people off and saying it's because of COVID. And a lot of the companies that are struggling are trying to hold on to their employees. So what do they want to pay? Do they want to pay their rent? Do they want to pay college? Do they want to pay a heat bill? Do they want to pay a retirement bill? Do they want to pay for a place at the coast? And, you know, what is it that they're looking for? If you look at a household that's making 40,000 or less, they're in the low income levels, and they are just trying to make it month to month. What they're dreaming for is going to be different from the 60,000 or less. 80,000 to 100,000 are better prepared, but they're not safe either. I mean, you look at people that have had great incomes and then they're told their job is gone or everything's shutting down. And I think there is a very high likelihood, ladies, that we will shut down, maybe not a whole United States shutdown, but I can tell you that I think North Carolina will do a shutdown. If nothing if everything keeps going on the trajectory we're on now, there'll be a shutdown right after the election. We've averaged over 2,000 new cases of COVID a day. We've got the highest number of people in the hospital that has occurred. And though you can look at this, the people go to the hospital about 2 weeks after the numbers go up. Well, 2 weeks ago, our numbers were running 600 to 800 cases a day. Now we're running 2,000 cases a day. So the number of people in the hospital in 2 to 3 weeks is going to be huge. We had our largest rate of death 2 days ago. When things shut down, it's going to be very scary. So we have something that we can offer. You know, but that doesn't happen unless we talk to people. And you could be talking now. You know, how do you think you are most safe if you have one job and one income per person in your household? So if it's one person, it would just be one. If there's two of you and each of you have a job, that's better. But in Latin America, most people have two things that they do that create money. Now, would you feel safer if you had two streams of income or if you just had one?
Two.
Would you feel safer if one of those streams of income was something that you couldn't be, and I am taping the call. Do you think if you had one source of income that you couldn't be fired from?
Yes.
And I told you, I've been self-employed since I was 27. I never thought of firing or laying myself off. A couple of times I thought about quitting, but it didn't seem like a good idea. So we want to think about how we are showing people this. Nikken keeps people from being in a dangerous situation. Nikken can help that $40,000 a year family move into a better position where they're not as strained. They can take the $60,000 person and they can move them to a more secure position. They can take the $80,000 to 100 and get them to a place where they're pretty comfortable. So I want to tell you the story of Gloria Navarra. Now, Gloria Navarra is the daughter, and I can't think of her mom's name, but Mrs. Navarra is the most successful person in all of Nikken in Mexico. She is a royal diamond. 6 years ago, her daughter Gloria decided that she wanted to go into business. She wanted to find a way to make money. Now, if her mother had been doing this business for about 10 to 15 years and was a royal diamond, how many people do you think they knew that weren't already on her mother's team? I'll give you a hint. It's a very round number.
0.
Right. Because Gloria had tapped everybody. I mean, Gloria's mom had tapped everybody. But do you know that today, Gloria on her own, from what she built, from the people she talked to what she brought, she is one of the top wage earners in Nikken in the business that she built for herself. Gloria's mom did not build it for her. So again, you know, you want to look ahead. Where do you want to be in 5 years? In Latin America, there are a lot of second and third generations that are hopping onto this business. And we want to let, you know, you can sell your Nikken business. A good friend of mine has recently bought a Royal Diamond distributorship in Mexico. Now it's going to be a big climb for her because she does not know Spanish at all. So she's a little braver than I am. Most of you all know that I'm a daily Spanish person, and I'm up to, I think I'm at 307 or 308 days now, and the Spanish is getting better and better. But you know, she sees, and I mean, so there was a person, and if you have a business, you want to figure out, you want to be able to sell it, you want to be able to pass it down to your children so they can inherit it. You know,
Google Translate is really good to try and help facilitate language barriers, I will say.
Not always. Lots of time
Even-
there.
Not always, but at least gets you in a better place when you don't understand the whole language.
it helps you speak the language poorly. Like things into Spanish, and then I'll send them over to Renzo for us to use in Peru, and he'll say, no, Kimball. It changes things, and all I knew is that's what Google said. But you're right. It is, if you don't know the language, then, you know, but
And that's why it also helps that we're trying to help each other, because when we know someone who does speak the language, then there's a potential for getting a little bit of assistance with the communication to have it not break down in a way that isn't true to what you're trying to portray or say, or hear what the other person is also trying to communicate as well.
Right, right, right. I want you all to think of what feels better to you. And it doesn't matter because, see, I'll tell you that everybody in the world is in sales. Doctors are in sales. They sell you on taking that medicine. Lawyers are in sales. They sell you on either going to court or making a settlement. People who are dating in sales, they want to get married. So everybody's in sales. But do you like the idea of being a facilitator in the process of choosing? That's really what sales is. You're not trying to make the decision for someone. You just want to offer what we have. And I've been doing a lot of looking. I mean, there is a huge amount of information on every single one of the products right there in the cart. And so all you are is facilitating the person. Do you want to have better health? How many people would you ask that you'd say, no, So you want to ask, do you want better health? Do you want to drink clean water? Do you want to breathe clean air? Do you want to get good sleep? Do you want to have more energy? And I'm going to encourage you to get the people that you're talking to answer those questions. Those are easy questions. It's not a trick, but you're finding out what they want. And as you do that, you are facilitating them choosing. Well, out of those, water, air, sleep, energy, which would be the most important to you? Now, if they say, well, they're all important, but I can't do anything because I don't have any money. Well, would you like to find a way that you would have the money to take better care of yourself? Well, sure. The idea is that you want to be asking questions. And then you're just going to share the information and find out what they want. But if they're interested in water, what are you going to show them?
Water
Okay.
pack. Okay. You know what that reminds me of?
What is that?
Olin Mills, when you used to go and have your picture made.
Mhm.
And they would lay out their premium package first and wow you with all these pictures. And maybe it was a $400 package, but you were on a budget and you couldn't quite do that. So they'd come down just a level. And it was always, they showed you what you wanted, but you had to make your choices about your budget. And I think about that is you start big and you can always come down, but it's hard to start low and climb your way up.
And I think people start low. They think, well, they're not going to spend a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
We don't ever know. You know, when I wanted to buy my wellness home, I can still remember the gal. I said, look, I want to sign up and I want to buy a wellness home. She said, no, you can't do that. You've got to sleep on that. Yeah, I can, and I'm going to, you tell me how. And she told me I couldn't buy the wellness home till the next day. So I got up at 3:00 in the morning and put it in and bought it. Because that's what I was going to do. And, you know, a lot of times people don't know what a person's financial status is. You might look at them and think they ain't got 3 pennies to rub together and they got way more money than you've got or will ever think about having. And another person that you might think has got all the money in the world, they are living on credit cards and a day of reckoning is coming. But, you know, It doesn't matter either way. It's up to them what they want to buy. That people are getting really good at shopping online. So I was talking to somebody the other day who said he had never bought online, and I just couldn't believe it because this is a businessman. I said, he said, no, I just didn't buy on Amazon. I made my first Amazon purchase after the pandemic started, and I was blown away. Because I tell you, I have a personal relationship with the UPS guy because he brings me my Amazon packages. And if Amazon doesn't deliver something just about every day, he thinks I'm sick or out of the country. So, he said, I bought an iPad on it and I bought something else. And then he said, and then I had to buy sheets. And he said, it took me 2 hours to decide the sheets I was going to buy. Well, that wigged me out. Because, like, so he said, I looked at it and he said, I knew I wanted it to be cotton. And he said, I knew I wanted a thread count between 600 and 1,000. He said, helped me decide what I wanted. He said, the one that said that they were environmentally friendly and used sustainable farming practices. And it had the thread count I wanted. They were eco-friendly and humanitarian and paid good wages. He said, I didn't buy the most expensive ones and I didn't buy the cheapest ones. I went in the middle. So back to the water. We've got the water, or we've got the water bottle. Then in the middle, we have the waterfall. So think about that. Our job is to create a good experience for future purchases. So when someone buys something, like today, I sold a water system last month, and I texted the person this morning. I said, how you liking that water system? I love it. Best purchase ever. I said, great. Would you be willing to read a Google My Business reference for me? And she said, yes. And she gave me a 5-star review. Now I'm going to be working with you on getting your Google My Business listing set up, because this is a great way for you to get people to come and buy from you when they are searching to buy these things. And I've already sent her a handwritten thank you note when she purchased it. She gave me that. I'm going to give her 10 Nikken bucks. In order to redeem those 10 Nikken bucks, she's going to have to call me, because I'm going to have to make the purchase for her, because I'm going to give her $10 off of her next order. Now, why am I doing that?
Entice.
To keep building the trust and also to give an incentive.
Who purchases at Kohl's? Anybody?
It's reoccurring income.
Crazy
Right.
people.
The people who purchase at Kohl's get Kohl's cash. Anybody know about Kohl's?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, holes, yeah.
I'm an Amazon buyer, and if something doesn't fit or whatever, you can carry it into Kohl's and you hand it to them. And you know what they give you besides shipping it off for you? They give you some Kohl's cash, and they give you a discount on your next purchase from Kohl's.
Really?
Right. So Jeffrey bought a couple of things that didn't fit, and we carried them back and had this. So we running shoes. So where did we go to get them? Kohl's, because we had Kohl's cash.
You got free money built in.
So then we bought those and we got more Kohl's cash. So when I wanted to get my air fryer convection oven, I got a $225 off for $140 after I took off all the discounts.
They have great discounts.
That's right. But any kind of discount you give there's, if somebody's got a discount, they want to buy. And this is not a point of sale business. You want to create a relationship. I have a relationship with my customers. I've got about 300 customers, and I've got right now, I think I'm right at 100 consultants. A lot of those consultants are wholesale consultants. They signed up, like if you get somebody to sign up this month, they may not want to do it as a business, but they wanted to get the products as wholesale. You think that bothers me? I've got one couple that buys at least $5,000 to $6,000 a year from me as a wholesale consultant. I don't think they've ever sold the first product. They might have been the first year, but that was 9 years ago, and I don't even remember. But do you think it bothers me?
No.
No. Don't sweat that. And so we want to provide a customer service experience, something that they want to come back to. There's many water systems out there. There's many air systems out there. You want to have a good story when you tell the person about the water system. And that can be a story that you have, or it can be a story you've heard. All stories, I always say, thank God as a therapist, I didn't have to have every mental illness that was in the DSM to be able to treat people.
Thank goodness.
Been pretty sad if I'd had to have depression and bipolar, schizophrenia, and you have that. It doesn't have to be your story. Gather the story from someone else and share it with them. Because do people buy because of the facts, or they buy because of emotion?
Emotion.
Exactly. So stories tell. And as we are working with the younger group, like our Elizabeth, like our CC,
Oh, thanks.
people that are younger, they're not as, and thank God, they're not all about what the next thing is going to be. They're not trying to see what the next thing they can do home. They're much more interested in enjoying and the experience and purpose and it being environmentally important. They've got kids. They don't want their kids to grow up in the kind of world that we're creating. So you're going to do this business one story at a time. When you sell, you're going to make money. That's just how it is. We've got a 5-year plan. And one of the big things, and I'm going to start each month, one of our trainings is going to be a training on managing money. They did that in Latin America 5 years ago when they set a 5-year goal. And Latin America has torn it up for the last 5 years because we're going to teach you how to make the money, and we're going to teach you how to have the money left. Because you know what? It really doesn't make any difference how much you make. It's how much you have on hand. There are people that make tremendous sums of money, and we can look at the man in the White House and all the money that he has been through in his lifetime, that he inherited, that he's made. And I mean, he's going to go bankrupt within a couple of years. I mean, that's what we know about his financial situation, unless something changes. We can together as a team co-create something really special over the next 5 years. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to have to take you 5 years to get there. Exponential growth happens. And because of the way that we're set up, where you're growing teams and bringing people in, that's how things can happen quickly. That's what Pascal Finet was talking about. And Pascal Finet said, a business like Nikken, I mean, we are on that tipping point with wellness right now. I was talking on the phone with one of my consultants from Maryland. She never gets on this call because she has a handicapped child. And this is not a time that works for her. She works full time as a marketer, and her husband is a person who stays home and takes care of their child. And now they're both at home because she's working there. But she, she's looking for a way to make a difference for her family. And she says, I see it. I see wellness as being the thing right now. And that's what he said. So it's up for us to take advantage of that moment. Again, we know that what Nikken's going to do is they're going to provide the products, they're going to ship them, and the person that I know that's been in the business the longest is Dave Johnson, and they've never not given him his check on time, and one of his checks was for $500,000 for 1 month. We're a direct selling company, and we use the MLM system to pay out. Luis tells the story that when he was a college student, he got into network marketing and he always had money in his pocket. And when I met him in Peru in 2012, he said, "How many of you are selling to college students?" And nobody raised their hands. He said, "In Mexico, we sell to college students. Do you know how we do that?" Now, not all college students, but a large number of college students drink a lot of alcohol. Have you noticed this? Do you think those college students like to have hangovers?
No.
So, would you like something that you could sell that could help your friends not have hangovers when they drink? Yes. Would you like
There's
something
a product for that from Shark Tank.
Well, we have the product. Why am I going to sell Shark Tank? It's called a water bottle and a necklace.
Because Shark Tank gets more publicity. The Shark Tank product gets more publicity. They're having paid people, like they're paying people to endorse the product.
But that product, has it had $1 billion in sales?
To date, yes, because I'm pretty sure the product launched 2 years ago.
Because I want to look it up and share it next week. What's the product?
I'd have to look it back up on my Instagram feed because that's the only place that it popped up. But I
And if-
remember watching Shark
Yeah,
Tank
and if that's
watching it get like voted yes across the board.
I saw that show, but I can't remember what it was.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it either. It's
What was the product?
it's the hangover cure. It's
Yeah.
like my girls' night out with or without, and it's like she does like the TikTok swoosh swoosh like with the Windex on the mirror, and then she like bounces into like going out attire and then like bounces back to without it and then bounces back to with it, and she's like swiping the mirror with the Windex the whole and so it's
It just takes the
very it's super trendy for the younger market. It is because they're putting on this TikTok video, basically like it's hitting on a TikTok video, which the whole trend went totally viral. Cheers. Yeah. Cheers.
That's what it's called, Kimball.
Yeah. It's
Okay, I'll look it up. I'll do the research.
Cheers. But they're targeting people that are not even necessarily 21 years old to do the marketing, which is why these type of products go into having to deal with other stuff later after the fact. It doesn't even matter if the product works at that point, because they're not even able to legally consume alcohol, nor should they be endorsing a product that is what it's curing, is for people drinking alcohol that are supposed to be of age to begin with. And it's the gray area, if you will. And I really just I got upset. I'm 32 and I got upset when I watched it because I'm like, this girl doesn't even look like she's 21. And then it doesn't give their actual information, so you can't actually look it up. But if there was legal repercussion, then obviously they would be able to look that up. So, but
Like,
again,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, Cece.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that it just reinforces that, like, we need to have our social presence so much more there all the time, because we are of age and we're not posting, things that could be destructive to a younger person's life or their life choices, or whatever the case may or may not be. We are endorsing products that we love. Like, I know for myself, Nikken saved my life, and I know that
I
for
think that's the big
100%.
difference, the takeaway. There's going to be the people that listen, like what you just said, and you are only 32 years old. It's those people that are like, it's more than TikTok. It's more than, oh, my friend's doing it.
Right.
It's more of a, my life is important feeling.
Yeah.
And so I kind of feel like those people that jump on board with that are the same people that jump on the board with, if you just take these pills, you're going to lose weight in 5 days. They have to take their own time to come back around.
Exactly.
Exactly. But if, we are Nikken's marketing team.
Right.
You can choose to market your products on Instagram, on TikTok if you want, on Facebook, on Google Maps. You get to choose how you do that. But the deal, and that's what they pay us for. I mean, that's
Yeah.
where money comes in for us. But if you don't talk to people and you don't show them that vision, and I'm a great believer that most people, with that said, and you have to be, I'm going to tell you, you have to be very careful with college students. There was a North Carolina network marketing company that had energy drinks. And when kids go off to college, a lot of them carry a credit card from their parents. And they were targeting college students with this energy drink that had their parents' credit card. And these kids were signing up and getting on auto ship for $500 a month or more of these energy drinks. And they got knocked out by the attorney general, and they should have.
Yeah.
But, it's always when you look at somebody, what is going to get somebody's, because if you talk to a college student and you say, well, I want you to get the water bottle because I want you to drink this water so that when you get 60 years old and you retire, you're going to be really healthy.
That ain't gonna work.
No.
Well, okay, so funny story. One of my new consultants from last month, she's only 24. And I have really been talking to her about her health and what people didn't maybe tell me when I was young. Like, I think all of us as adults over 30 realize, why didn't anybody say this? Because maybe had that been done, and my parents were good parents, they were very loving in providing. So I don't think that part, but it's that other part, that water, different kinds of water, different aspects of different things that could help influence our physical being. They always said, Jesus gave you this capsule, so you take care of it. And yes, that's good. I'm glad that they said those things, but had more happen to that our generation, my generation, all of our generations, then maybe the outcome of health would be totally different. So I've been doing that, and I have 2 other ones that one is still in college and the other one is out of college that I've been talking with, and they do buy products and they are customers. And I feel like they know what's coming, they know what's changing in the world. So I keep praying that I keep pushing that button for those young ones that I talk to, because there's probably maybe a good half a dozen, for me at least, that are under 30 years old.
And what gets those people attention with you? Can I say what I think?
Go ahead.
You are a wellness practitioner, massage therapist. You got an autoimmune disorder. They saw you very, very sick.
Right.
They saw you got these Nikken wellness products and you got better.
Right.
That makes there's always something that gets someone's attention.
Right.
A story I've got, though, I met with a woman a few years back and she didn't tell me her daughter was having a panic attacks. She told me that her daughter, who was about to go off to college, had migraines all the time. And the morning we met, she said, "I've got a headache." Well, I usually wear a power band too, and I took it off and I put it on her, and she put it on, and she goes, I said, "Doesn't hurt anymore, does it?" She said, "Yeah, it took my headache right away." So she took it off, and she sat there, and then a few minutes later, I started doing this. I said, "Did your headache come back?" And she says, "Yes."
Right.
And she said, "Could I borrow this for my daughter?" I said, "Sure." I said, "And if she's got really bad migraines," I said, "she may need more than just one, because my husband wears 3 because his problems are coming from his neck. So it makes it a little bit different." And so she took it, and she called me back in a week, and she said, "Oh my God, I want another one to try." She said, because she said it was ugly and she wouldn't wear it out. And so she took it. It was with her head. She took it off to go out on a date, and she came back with the worst migraine she'd ever had.
Those are hard.
She bought 2, and she could have bought the pretty one, but she bought 2 of those. And then she called me up and she said, "I didn't tell you this, but my daughter has panic attacks." And she said, what's weird is after she started wearing the 2, she never had another panic attack.
Really?
Mm-hmm. My niece had panic attacks. In fact, she was even hospitalized, and they medicine everything. She's got a pretty necklace like this one, but she also keeps one of the power bands in her purse at all times so she can take it out and put it on, because she says she needs 2, when she gets really anxious.
Mhm.
So it's those stories, but we've got to reach out. Steve Jobs was a visionary, and he said that what is so important is when 2 things are put together. So when do you think that the suitcase was invented?
When travel started being popular. I don't know.
For women traveling.
It was, and it probably maybe 1700,
Yeah.
Maybe before.
maybe before. When was the wheel invented?
So long ago, we don't even have a true date.
The caveman invented the wheel.
Who on here is old enough to remember when we lugged around our suitcases and they didn't have wheels on them?
Me.
I do.
I do.
Summer camp every summer.
But somebody took the wheel, which had been around forever. And I mean, for me, there's always been suitcases in my life, and they put those 2 things together.
Yeah.
At Nikken, we're putting together air. And if you weren't on the call after Friday's call, the scientists from Nikken, and we can't record this, but that air filter puts out 1 million negative ions per minute.
I did some research for you on that too, and I have some stuff for you.
So what you got, Barbara? Share it with us.
Well, I've got a bunch of different links. I read a bunch of different scientific experiments. There was even one the government did, and they proved that it killed the viruses. Now, some of the studies were done, of course, before we knew about COVID, but there's even one that mentions COVID. So I put them on a Word document, all the different links, and I was going to send them to you and let you see which ones were the most worthy. So I'll have to remember and do that tomorrow.
Okay. But that kills virus. Now, we're not saying it kills COVID, but is COVID a virus?
Mm-hmm.
Would you want to have a air machine if there was a deadly virus out there?
It's better than any other options we've got at this point, really.
That's right. And
we can't look from now, can we?
In December, it'll be back.
Okay, good.
The problem is getting there's so many air filters being made that they got behind, and so but it will be back. They're saying in December we'll have them back in. Water. You know, there's been water filters forever, but we've got our water bottle. Our water bottle is the only water bottle out there that combines declustering, a nano filter, which is taking out contaminants and bacteria and plastics, and alkalis. We're the only one on the market that does all three of those things. So we do really unique stuff. Our water filter, and the water bottle, and by the way, you dump it in if it goes to the landfill, it just goes apart. It just, in a month, it'll be completely broken down. When I talk about the water filter, I talk about the fact it's portable because it goes in a reusable shopping bag. That's portable. But it alkalizes the water, it ionizes the water, it magnetizes the water. The closest thing to it is a Kangen system, which sells for $4,000. Would you rather buy a $4,000 system or a $340 system?
340.
Right. So I want you to be thinking about those things. Tomorrow night is our event, and I want you to think about who can you call up and say, hey, I just want you to get on. And you might have heard, I've been talking about Nikken, but I really want to have somebody on this event, and I want you to hear some of the stories. You don't have to buy a thing, but I want you to hear some of the stories because I want you to help me think about people that could benefit from these, because I feel like I've really benefited. And then tell them how you benefited. I benefited because I paid my house payment for 14 and a half years. I even upgraded to a different house. I benefited because they told me I was going to have to be on disability. And I'm one of the healthiest 60-year-olds that I know. I know about the benefits. Say, you're pretty healthy and you got in this and you've got plenty of money. Tell somebody else's story. Tell Cece's story. She was a healer, a mommy. She got autoimmune. They couldn't figure out what to do. She added this energy to her body and she's better. You don't have to be cured. I mean, let's look at this. One of my mentors as a psychotherapist told me years ago, he said, if you live long enough, you're going to have something.
Right.
Yeah.
I just like to say, I like to be functional. I really like to be functional. And I think everybody wants to be functional.
Yeah.
At least I think we all probably have ailments, and no matter where we come from, and we may not even want to talk about them, or we might pretend, because I know the human person is very well at that. But for me, it's very functional. I'd much rather be functional with Nikken than extremely unfunctional without it.
And what is the buzzword? Because we don't diagnose and we don't treat and we don't cure, but
Right.
What is the buzzword in healthcare these years? Is it functional medicine?
Right.
You feel better.
Mm-hmm. You want to feel better. You want to live better. And it's really simple. I have a pretty complex life, and I believe every single one of you do. But I don't have to think about the water I drink. It comes out of the water machine. I sleep on the sleep system, and the new sleep pad is coming by the end of the year. I don't have to worry about the air. In fact, I've got in my living room, I've got an old air system I had, and I've got one of the newer ones because I had somebody that I wanted to see in here because I do hypnotherapy, and it is very hard to do hypnotherapy over Zoom. And each of us had an air system beside us, and I felt okay because when I do hypnotherapy, I got to see your whole face. If you're behind a mask, yeah, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
I had to have that. I mean, and who thinks about breathing? If you got to think about breathing, you're in trouble because you can't ever go to sleep again.
That's right.
Right.
So Thursday night at 7, Sunday at 2:30. I want everybody to work to have at least one person on. You don't have to have a cast of thousands. We're going to play the game. We're going to share stories, and let's help each other out. Get to know each other and how you can help. People love third party validation. I know that's crazy because the person you're inviting knows you, but you know what? They know you, so they don't think you know anything. Bring somebody else in, and my God, they're, and I learned that a long time ago. I love to introduce people to somebody else and let them do the talking and be able to just sit there. It takes me off the hot seat.
Yeah.
People just want to know that what we have works. We haven't been in business for 45 years because the products didn't work.
Right.
We haven't done business in 40 different countries because the products don't work. I mean, there's not many companies that make it that long. I've got a shirt from what was the oldest restaurant in Carteret County, North Carolina. It's not there anymore. I bought it about 5 years ago. I bought it because actually I knew they were getting ready to go out of business, and I said, I gotta have this. Any questions you have before we call it a night tonight?
I just posted it in the thing. First of all, there was a moment where you said something and it kind of froze a little bit, and I was trying to talk with David, but you said like 3 words about like what we're trying to do, and it was after like the wellness home versus wellness environment discussion, but you said like 3 words and it was like bam bam bam, not
Now,
past, future, present, but it was like you said something but it like kind of cut out a little bit, because whatever you said when it came back on, like I only got the 3 words and then like couldn't write it down fast enough, and then it like skipped to another topic. And then also like for us, because we're all like in a team, if there's like a way that we can kind of coordinate to do testimonials on each other's forums, or send people to other people on our team's forums, like to do testimonials.
And the ways that I really want you, I had everybody get on WhatsApp. If you're not on, I want you to get on WhatsApp on our Blazing Royal All-Stars, because I want us to use this the way they use it in Latin America. And I'm on one of the Latin Americas. I do speak enough Spanish now that I can keep up with that.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, and it's great because it's written.
Kudos to Kimball.
Yeah. So if we're all on WhatsApp, say you're talking to somebody who's got a breathing problem, you can go to WhatsApp and you can type in, hey, anybody got a story about this? And I'm not expecting for everybody to be looking at WhatsApp every minute, because I'm not going to. But if you see it come up and you go, oh, yeah, I remember so-and-so had a story with that. And then you send that. That person can call you. I mean, I want WhatsApp. WhatsApp will help us grow together as a team. You're in business for yourself. You're not in business by.
So I something you keep saying about the Latin America, I don't want to be like, I know everything about them, but I do know that I want to let you guys know that I am here for every part of you. And that's what Latin people do.
That's
Latin
right.
people, even though I don't know Miss Shirley, I would do anything for her. I would come to her house and take care of her and clean her feet, just like Jesus would want me to. And I know not all Latin people are like that. And I know not all kinds of people are what I'm saying, but I think that is what you are saying, Kimball, when you say they are together. And so I know that I physically have not been to everyone's house, and I physically have never given you a hug, but every time I see your faces, it makes me so happy, like I want to hug you. And it's, I think, a Latin thing. I have a lot of Latin. I have Portuguese and I have Spanish and I have Native American. I'm very much of a mutt, but that's one thing I do know is that that overwhelming joy of love and I can't even partially describe it, but I can feel it all over my body just in telling you that that's what we do. So if you were questioning or hindering the fact that, well, what do we do? Those Latin people, if you needed anything from me, reach out to me and I would definitely give it to you. And I think that I feel the same way about you, even though you haven't told me yet. I know that's how I feel with Kimball, and she is not Latin. So it's just a feeling. Like, I don't know if that helps any, but I think I just wanted to convey what you're saying, because I know what you're saying about them, and it drives me crazy because it's just what it is.
The United States has always been an I, me, my culture.
Right.
Yeah.
And I, me, my cannot do nearly as much as we can do. And Latin America is very we and us. Japan is very we and us. That's why I'm very excited that Luis is leading us.
Oh, yeah.
Because Luis is part Japanese and he's part Mexican.
Mhm.
Very, that he is one of the most together people that I've ever met. I absolutely adore this man. And that's exactly what I'm saying, Cece. I want us to work together. And I don't believe in a universe of lack. I believe in a universe of abundance.
Right.
Yeah.
There's always going to be plenty of business. We don't have to take from anybody else or anything.
Right.
But if we work together, we can achieve so much. And I love, I'm really geeky. I love to read. I mean, when I heard that Pascal was going to be on, I got his book and I read it. And I was like, oh my God, I was like a kid waiting for Santa Claus to come, waiting for him to talk on Saturday. I mean, there's so much to learn, but we have something to offer. And I'm just telling you, there was something I heard this weekend and it's a little scary. And it's that, we're going to get through this pandemic, but there's a lot of other pandemics that could be yet to come. And this isn't the big one. I mean, I think a lot of us in medicine thought Ebola would be when we hit the big, and I'm telling you, what we're seeing is nothing compared if Ebola had hit. So what we want to do is we want to teach people how to have the best immune system they can, have the least amount of discomfort that they can. Betty's got some great testimonials on her knee and the stuff that went on with that. Cece's got her great testimonials about what she did with her autoimmune. Elizabeth has got great testimonials about what went on with her. And Elizabeth, you and I'll call you tomorrow, it'll probably be Friday. But I was talking with somebody today. I really want to talk with you more about tick-borne illness. And Kathy, I've got somebody I'm going to refer you to that has she has a foundation there where she teaches people about tick-borne illness. She has her master's of public health from UNC. And I think you two should connect. Shirley's got a great testimonial about her ankle when we were going out of town. So, we are full of testimonials within ourselves. We know what all of this does. I just want us to all pull it together because, I mean, this is going to be a great year.
It is. I agree too. I think it is going to be a great year. I am finding the more I keep on me as far as my MagFlex and my insoles and my power bands. If I met my cousin halfway from Stewart at Philpott Lake on Sunday, and this is the sister to the cousin you met in Stewart.
Okay.
She lives up in Floyd, and she was standing there and she grabbed her hip and she said, I have bursitis in my butt. And she said, I sat wrong. We were sitting out with some friends talking outside to social distance. And I sat on a railing, and she said, my butt is so sore and it just won't quit hurting. And I said, well, here. And I pulled out my MagFlex and I said, Carol, I really, really believe in this magnetic energy. And she put it on, and we were getting ready to leave. And she said, I said, you can mail it to me. And she said, good. She said, how much is she said, how much is it? And I said, just a second. And I have a little catalog. I'll just give that to you. And she had given me a check to pay the family property taxes on the farm, the family farm. And she said, don't fill in that check amount yet. So I hope to hear from her in a day or so and see what she's doing. But it was just so natural. We were having life, and I wasn't trying to sell, but I saw a need, and I had an offer. And she just in her standing there, it began to bring her comfort almost immediately. And it's like, oh, wow, I don't really want to take this off, but I had to ride home without it. So I use it all the time.
And I'm going to encourage you to pivot that just a little bit.
Okay.
Selling is offering someone a solution for a problem. Shouldn't
Yeah.
we always be looking for the sale?
Yes.
Right. Good point.
Sometimes it just falls in your lap. And I actually just messaged everyone, sell without selling, fill the gap between living and the need for quality of life.
Oh, I love that. I love that, Elizabeth. That's exactly right. But
because that's how they fall into your lap. Just in that way, is it's someone searching for something to give them something they know already will give them quality of life. And
Right.
and maybe we have a better way. And and sometimes it really does. I think that this has been my biggest hurdle, is like trying to make everything online, because I'm not a tech person, even though by my age demographic I should be. But it just
Becoming a soul.
it just seems so weird to me. Like I would
Yeah.
much rather do like my ladies' nights once a month that I started doing, and let people touch and feel and try the products. And even though, I mean, it was such a small group of us, but I felt like there was more meaning that came from that. And I want to try to find a way to like merge those two, because for me, I feel like that's like, it's hard for me to connect with people because I'm so used to connecting in a different way completely. And I'm supposed to be so techy because like I'm 32, like I'm a millennial, but I'm like, I'm barely a millennial, like in my ideology. Like, so it's like, it's just like a really hard hurdle for me. And it has been, and I don't want it to continue feeling like such a task to, and so like I'm taking different webinars. I'm trying to find different ways to do like online parties and things like that. And then that would bring other people, so I don't know what that will look like, but Kimball, when we connect tomorrow, like I would love to share some things that have been coming up from different things I've been doing for trainings and stuff. But I think that it will help us, just be able to expose the products for the benefits, and not be a pushy salesy thing. Like it still can be a fun thing, even though it's not like person to person interaction. And so like I've really been trying the last 2 months to try to bridge that gap, and I think I might have found a way. And so hopefully that comes across as that's what happens. Yeah.
I want to tell you, and I know Kimball, I know exactly what she's going to do. No one has the right to make you think any way about yourself. So remember that it doesn't matter what demographic anything puts you in. You are complete control of everything that you do on this earth. And Jesus gave you all of that insight to do what your heart feels, not what people say you're supposed to do.
And that's
So-
why I called into the universe, and the universe gave me webinars out the yin yang to go to and check in on and see other ways of doing what I want to do. And accepting that I might be portrayed that kind of way, but it doesn't change how I feel about myself. But it also might not be helping me build my business at the same time. And so that's what I've been trying to stay consciously aware of more is I want to build my business. What feels good for me to build my business? And and so that's that's the bridge, so to speak.
Well,
So
the spaghetti tower with the marshmallow on top spoke more to me than, and it reminded me of one of the things we had. I guess Kimball, you must have done in San Antonio. You did where you picked 2 or 3 people about let's grow a business, and one person had to stand there and research and think about it, and the others just started running up to people and saying, "You want to join my team?"
Yep.
And that was the same thing with that spaghetti tower. It was like, just do it, just get it going.
Well, I'm a kindergartner, so I wanted to run in the kitchen and grab the marshmallow and the spaghetti and see how I could make it go. I mean, I love that. And that's what this is about. Just talk to people. Some aren't going to be interested and some are, but the faster we go and the more we do, this is not a spectator sport. You know, this is something we get involved in. And I really feel in my heart of hearts that people need to know about these products. They always have. But you know what? People are realizing with what's going on right now, they know they need to. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a serious, serious time. And we gotta meet it. Because, I've told all of you, my grandmother was 17 years old when the flu of 1918 came through. She lived through it, and she married my grandfather. She had breast cancer in 56 and 57. I was born in 60 and she raised me. So, that's a big deal. All right, guys, it's time to call it a night. We have this has been wonderful. I'm so glad you joined us tonight, Christina. Good to see everybody. Hope to see everybody tomorrow night at 7.
Kimball, I have one quick question.
What is that?
Do we have anybody on that has helped anybody with lupus? I know you have with carpal tunnel, but I
Yes.
just met a girl that has both.
Yes.
Okay, I need to get some more information and talk to you about that. But I've got her info, and I'm going to be setting her up as a customer because she's already wanting to buy a bracelet for herself and a necklace for her son because she's having some trouble with her son, and he's only 12. And I can tell you a little bit more about that, but it's like he's been wanting to hurt himself, like she's had to go get him counseling and stuff. So
All right,
yeah,
I'll try to get up with you tomorrow and send you some stuff.
lovely. Thank you, darling. Have a good night.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye bye.
I love you all.
Love ya.
Blessings and peace.
What's the name of that book by Pascal?
Oh,
You know.
I think I have it written
oh
down.
shoot, I have the wrong notebook here. David lost his spelling books in my notebook for the conference. How
I don't
convenient.
know. I think I put it in my file. Hold on.
Maybe I took a screenshot.
No, I didn't. Dang it.
That's okay. I actually recorded most of the second day because they had too many screen shares that I wanted to save, and for so many hours in a day, like it just wasn't feasible for me to like have mom life on the weekend
Yeah.
and still get through. But hang on just a second. I'm going through right now because he's actually very fluid with his stuff.
I liked him.
Now,
Yeah.
were
no,
they
he
were
was-
they posting those recordings on the website?
They're supposed to by next week, I think was what the
Yeah, that's what I
timeline was
understood.
supposed
It
to
would
be.
be the latter part of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like closer to Halloween, which kind of makes sense because there's a lot of laws even that sunset for Halloween at midnight. Oh wait. Okay, wait. So, okay. Hang on. Let me pause this. Oh. Okay. So, I'm going to type it into the chat.
Okay.
But hello at B Radical. Hello at B Radical dot XYZ. If you send, oh no, hang on. To everyone. Send. Okay.
Send an email to this email address. A automatic bot will send you back my personal email.
And you'll get an automatic bot reply from him.
Contact details
Here,
as well as we share
can you
all our research.
can you hear this?
Research on the future of business and society. We share all our research on this private mailing list. With that being said, thank you all again so much. I hope I could whet your appetite a little bit for this crazy future we're moving into. I hope I could make you a little bit more optimistic about the future than most of us admittedly are, and probably for good reason. But I do think that the future is invisible and the future is unwritten. So it is on us to create the future we want. With that being
The future
Could
is
you put-
unwritten. Could you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
could you put the book on WhatsApp so we could pick up the title?
said,
Is
go
it
out
You
there,
Found Me?
build what
I have to go back through to find what the name of the actual book is.
Well,
That's
even
what-
his website, if you could put that on.
That's the contact details, latest research and invite only network. So hang on, let me
personal email. I want to leave you with the last page of the fabled Whole Earth catalog. And the
Can you
Whole
guys
Earth
hear
catalog
that?
was the internet before there was an internet. And the last page of the last edition ever being published of the Whole Earth catalog said, stay hungry and stay foolish. And you might
Stay hungry and stay foolish.
Okay.
That's the name of the book.
I believe so.
I just found it when you said that in my notes. Because I had read that.
So I wanted to say something before Kimball left, but I'm going to tell you guys. I have a possible client who she had a stroke a year ago, and she is extremely she's in her 60s. She is extremely reliant on the Western medicine. So
Yeah.
right now, it's taken me a week to get a necklace on her, but she immediately saw a difference. And I know she is one of my daughter's friends. It's his mother. The man, he is 30 years old. So we are friends with a younger couple, and their children, and their two boys go to school with Sydney. And so it's his mother. She is very nice to me whenever I have seen her, but I do think there's a little bit of that age gap of like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I really am going to keep nudging her. But I might request any of you that are more seasoned and very, I think on her level, because she would probably think, well, they know what they're talking about.
Be more receptive to someone
And
closer to your age.
I know that she does care for me, and she cares for my child and my husband, and she's a wonderful lady. But I do get it, you know, it's just sometimes easier for certain people to feel a different connection. And I think that's where I'm losing it right now, because she wants, I told her if she could just put some little magnets behind her ears, and I gave her tape and I gave her the magnets, and I sent her a necklace, and I even took my grounding mat, because she's having really bad vertigo right now.
Yeah.
And her symptoms are on a constant. She has thyroid issues, and she had the stroke.
Oh.
And so she's just, I think, in a really whirlwind right now, that she doesn't know what to do, except if a doctor tells me, then I'll do it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to convince her to get on my call tomorrow or Sunday, and I'll put a message in the app to say if she's coming on or not. I highly doubt she'll want to see her face, anybody to see her face. Like she'll put her daughter-in-law in front of
Yeah.
it or something.
Well,
you
no,
know?
but I mean, just tell her also that it's okay for her to not come on with a video.
Oh no, yeah,
And just she can even just call in and just hear the conversation.
Well, I know her daughter-in-law and her son will have to be there, otherwise she won't do it at all.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay.
just where her brain is at right now. She does not, if they don't force it, like her son literally had to tell her, you have to wear that necklace. And honest to goodness, within an hour, she realized something was happening to her. So it's like that close.
Yeah.
And I told her, I just want you to feel better. I don't care if you
Right.
want anything from me.
Yeah.
I just want you to stop spinning. I want you to feel
Right.
good. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there and say, I may need help and I may reach out. I'm praying that she does join for one of our calls in the next couple of days, because it has been over 2 weeks that she is just out of her mind with this migraine and out of her mind with the vertigo. So
And it will help. I mean, I'm in a younger category age-wise, but had I been having the vertigo issues that I had that were like so out of the blue and almost debilitating before I even had my son, I wish that I would have been introduced to Nikken
right.
in that time, because what I ended up having to deal with for years until I found something that coded what I was dealing with. It didn't even fix it. It didn't help me feel better, but it just lessened what was going on. I know now, like, if I had been introduced to Nikken all those years ago, my whole life would have been completely different for
Yeah.
so many more years. And I mean,
I just didn't want to have to explain it once it's
tell me
happening.
why. Yeah, they couldn't. I mean, doctors, I mean, they couldn't even tell me why I was having vertigo symptoms, and it was like severe vertigo. And I mean, I was 21 years old.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and I have thyroid problems in my family, and my thyroid was fine. I always make my doctors test for extra things just because I have hereditary, like, Hashimoto's disease, which is like a very extreme, it's a very extreme thyroid disorder. But there's easy ways to detect it if you know and you're proactive about your testing. You know, I mean, my veins roll. They always blow my veins when they take my blood. So I want to make sure that they like test for all the things and don't have me have to get poked again, like,
Yeah.
you know, just to get blood, because it's like torture. I mean, I you know, but sometimes we need the basic blood work to even know for ourselves what's going on with our body. Even though like we might feel some kind of way, I try to be, you know, attuned with what's going on with myself and call in the universe. And sometimes we still get hidden messages, and that's okay too, because it is what it is. But it definitely, I feel like because I went through that so young in my life and was so alone because my family like abandoned me for getting divorced from a Marine and a Boy Scout, Eagle Scout. And I'm like, well, he's a cheating piece of crap. Like I don't want to have anything to do with him. I'm not going to build my life with a man like this, and I'm sick, and I'm really sick. Like, I'm scared, and they all, I had to deal with it by myself. So I know that could be a very scary thing. And so, yeah.
Well, I just wanted to kind of ask that favor in advance, just in case it happens, and just in case if I bring her on, I do think that she would feel comfortable with you guys, and I pray that she will make the jump to listen, even if it's just to listen to us.
Well,
And
that
like
would
I
be
said,
that would
go
be
ahead, Miss
something
Kathy.
good. That would be something good for all of us to pray one for another, that God would put us in front of the right people that He would
Right.
want
Yeah.
to bring.
Right.
Amen.
Yeah.
What's her first name, Cece?
Well, it's my friend Dakota Lisa's. It's Dakota's mother. And so I always just call her Mama. Honest to goodness, I've known her for 2 years and I've never even called her by her first name. I don't even know that they introduced me as her first name.
That's nice.
Yeah, but it's Dakota's mother. And her last name is Rasmussen, and she's from Louisiana. She's a wonderful lady, but I think that she's just very intimidated, especially when it comes to the medical world, that she believes, like many, that the doctor's word is the final word. And I definitely agree that at some point in my life, I think I thought that until I
Yeah.
realized they weren't helping me as much as I needed them. So I just wanted to ask you guys and say that, and, hopefully she comes on, and then who knows, maybe she will hear you or hear our conversations and it might help her. So that's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
And have you talked with Kimball about her problems, Cece?
I talked with Kimball a little bit a couple weeks ago. I texted her and I asked her how about a stroke, or, what could I do? And so that's when I originally gave her all the products that I had for lending. And I've just been kind of checking in on her every couple of days. Her daughter-in-law, she goes and checks on her physically. So she goes into her house. I have not been in the house because she does not want anyone to be around her because she is very afraid of the COVID, which I agree. I don't go around anybody either. So I did tell Elise and Dakota that I would be willing to do a FaceTime call with her if she wanted to talk to me about the products I was sending. But Dakota said that once they told her that, she said, no, it's okay, I trust you. But she wouldn't put anything on except for that necklace. And that was a short time after they had already started talking. So
I want to say, she put on the necklace, and as you're describing this story, it makes me think of my grandmother, who is the only female exposure in my life that taught me how to be a lady, dress like a lady, put your hair in curlers, you put your necklace on, you put your earrings on, you put your lipstick on, even if you do nothing else. Those are the minimums. And before you step out of your house to even go check your mail. And that was, my grandmother was born in 1928 in Cuba. And it very much is a cultural thing. And it's like, that is just what all the women did during that time. And my mom is such a tomboy. I would have never even known how to feel like I looked like a lady, if that makes any sense, without having been exposed and loving my grandmother so much that she gave me those kinds of insight. And and yes, maybe they were cultural, but I mean, it still is not dated, if you will. And it was more about women feeling good about themselves before they walked out their front door, period. And that was what the root for all of that came from. And I think that, I think that that's it. And it is like, it's like a merge of, of like societal expectations, and then also like, just, is it okay for you to like feel good about you feeling good when you're feeling good, And it's kind of like the merging of the two adaptions, like where it's like, it is okay to have that inner peace. It is okay to exude that when you leave your house. It's okay, and uh, I I really miss my grandma so much. And this like, thank you for this story, even
You're welcome.
because
I'm
like
glad.
it like, no, it makes me like, this is exactly why my grandma taught me these things, and now she's not here. And I'm just, I just feel so blessed to have had extra time with her, for her to tell me these things and express these emotions and everything with me and to me, and just to try to help me be a better woman. And I really didn't have that female influence anywhere else. It was supposed to come from her when it did. And I'm just, thank you for this story and this situation coming up with you. For me to just have this this gentle reminder of how much I really love my grandma, and how much I will always love my grandmother.
You're welcome. And
It's
I know we,
important.
but we are all here to be women influencers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Well, I love you all, and I'm gonna get off now. I need to get Sydney ready for bed.
Yep, I have to do my exercises for my knee.
Yay on me!
Good night.
Yes,
Love
do
everybody.
it, Betty.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
All right, Shirley. Bye, Kathy. Love you all.
Love y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.